Have you been asked to find the equation for a circle, including what the center of a circle is, but all you've been given is the diameter endpoints, and you're not sure how to do it? Well, I'm here to help you do that. I'm Professor Capko, and I'm going to show you how to find the center of the circle when you're given the endpoints of the diameter. But before we get into that, I want to mention that I believe something wonderful is going to happen for you today. Let's get back to the video. Here are the endpoints in our example, 11 and 6 and -1 and 8. Just a refresher, the diameter of a circle is the line that goes all the way through the center from one side to the other at its widest point, right through the center. So that's our diameter. Our radius would be just from the center to the outside. So we're given the endpoints of the diameter. So we're given 11 and 6. This one looks like more like -1 and 8. I'm just roughly putting in here, and this one be 11 and 6. I'm not graphing it to scale. I'm just showing you an idea that here's an endpoint and here's an endpoint. Let's find this center. We need the H and K, which is how we normally say that the center is the H and the K. So to find it, we're going to need the midpoint formula. So we're finding the H and the K, which of course are the X and the Y for the center of the circle. Our midpoint formula is equal to M, and that's going to give us our X and our Y, is equal to X sub 1 plus X sub 2 divided by 2. That's going to give the X side, and then our Y sub 1 plus our Y sub 2 divided by 2. That is our midpoint formula, and we're going to use this formula to find the midpoint or the center of the circle in this case. If you're finding this helpful, please go ahead and smash the like button. That will really help with the YouTube algorithm. Let's use the information we have here, the M, and we're going to fill in our midpoint formula. I like to pull out the actual variables and leave in empty boxes that we can fill in. So we're going to label them, and that way we know what goes where. This is a comma. And on this side we've got a box here with a y1 plus a y2. We've pulled those variables out, and this is over 2. So I'm just bringing this down and moving out the variables and leaving empty boxes there that we're going to fill in. So we're going to call this our x1 and our y1, and we're going to call this our x2 and our y2. It doesn't matter. You could have done it the other way around, but we just need to make sure we choose and keep it organized. So our x1 is 11, so I'm going to fill that in the box here, and our x2 is -1. And then our y1 is 6, and our y2 is 8. So far good, so good. All we've done is fill in our boxes. Now let's do some addition. So this is again going to be our midpoint. And we have 11, and we're adding a -1. 11 and we're adding a -1. That's the same thing as subtracting 1. So 11 minus 1 is 10 over 2, and parentheses, and then we have 6, and we're adding 8 to it. And if you add 6 and 8 together, you get 14 over 2. Now let's do the division, because these fractions are just division, so this is our midpoint. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. This is our center of our circle. This is going to be our H, and this is going to be our K. So the center of our circle is 5 and 7. So if we're going to fill in our standard formula for a circle, remember that is going to be X minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to our radius squared. So this 5 is our h and 7 is our k. So we're just going to fill it in. And again, I like the process of pulling out the variable and leaving a box there so we can make sure we don't forget anything. Y minus, pull out the k, leave a box, label it squared equals r squared. So we've got our h, and our h is 5, and our k is 7. So I fill it in, and then we can clean this up. So I've got x minus 5 squared plus y minus 7 squared is equal to our radius squared. The only thing left we need to find is our radius squared, and that's going to be using our distance formula. So let's go to another page, and we're going to use the distance formula. Our distance formula is d is equal to the square root of parentheses x2 minus x1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. So that's our distance formula. We have our center. Our center is the 5 and 7. And we just need to find the distance from the center to one of the sides. We can use either this point or that point. For ease, I'm just going to choose this one. So that's our second point, is our 11 and 6. Again, that was information that was just given to us in the problem. The x is 11, the y is 6. So these are the 2 points that we have. I'm going to call this our x1 and our x2. And this will be our y1 and our y2. And it could be the way around. I just want to choose one way or the other. So our distance is equal to our square root. And again, I'm going to pull out and label. So I got x sub 2 minus a box with x sub 1. And that whole thing is squared. And I'm going to add to it our y sub 2 minus our y sub 1. And then we'll take that and we're going to square that. Next, we just need to fill it in. Our x sub 1 is 5. Our x sub 2 is 11. Our y sub 2 is 6. And our y sub 1 was 7. So all I've done is taken these points. Again, this was the center, and this was one of the endpoints of our diameter. This one we were given, and this one we found up here using the midpoint formula. So let's do some math here. So our distance is equal to the square root, and we have 11 minus 5, that is 6. And that's going to be squared. And I'm going to add to that, and I've got a 6, and I'm going to subtract 7. So that's a minus 1, and that's going to be squared. Our distance is equal to the square root of 6, and we're going to square it, so that's 36. Plus, and negative 1 squared. A negative 1 times negative 1 becomes a positive 1. So then we've got the distance is equal to the square root of 36 plus 1 is 37. And 37 is not a perfect square, so we're just left to leave it like that. So that's the distance from the center to the end of the diameter. So that is also our radius. Our radius is the square root of 37. Knowing all this, so our center is, again, that 5 and 7, and our radius is square root of 37, we're going to go ahead and finish writing our equation of a circle. So we had gotten to this point here, and so we have parentheses x minus 5 squared plus y minus 7 squared. The only thing left was the radius squared, and our radius is 37, square root of 37. And if you take the square root of 37 and you square it, the square root of 37 squared, that just means the square root of 37 times the square root of 37. Whatever's in here comes out. So our r squared is 37. This is the equation for our circle. If you find this type of material helpful, go ahead and subscribe, because now you know how to find the equation of a circle, but there's a lot more that you're going to need to know. So keep your grade alive and subscribe. Thank you.